Hello, everyone. Today on It's Called Soccer, we are going to be going through what my Copa America roster is and tier list is right now in March of 2024. I know that the 23-man roster for Nations League is out and those games are about to be played, but I'm taking the 60-man provisional roster from the Nations League that Greg built and putting everything into a tier list for who I think should be going to Copa America this summer. I just want to say this outright. This is my roster. This is who I think deserves or should be on the plane or the trains or the automobiles that are going to these games in Copa America, not necessarily what Greg will do or what I think Greg will do. So while I'm going through this, I'm sure there will be a ton of disagreements that you have with me. So make sure to let me know down below in the comments what you think of this tier list. But let's get started. This is going to be my Copa America team and what I think of everyone that is on this provisional roster. The tier list is going to work this way. At the very top is, oh, he'll go. That means there's no question he will be there on the roster. The second tier is on the team. This is someone who I think has a very strong possibility of making the team is probably like the 11 to 20 depth chart. Then on the bubble, these are players that kind of need to show me a little bit more or have that space open to them in the next few months with their club teams to make this squad for Copa America. The next tier is Olympics. So if someone is U23 eligible or maybe is one of the three senior players that I want to see at the Olympics, that's going to go in there. And then someone that I don't think should be at the Copa America or is Olympics eligible or shouldn't be at the Olympics. So let's get started. This is my tier list for Copa America 2024. The first up is Gaga Slanina. He is on loan at Usmnt from Chelsea this year. I feel like he's Olympics. There's no question to me that there are three better goalkeepers right now in the Usmnt pool, and it's probably a little too early for Gaga Slanina to take up that third spot. Zach Steffen, I mean, maybe on the bubble, but Colorado Rapids this year being coached by the Manchester United legend Chris Armas. For me, he's in the category. I think Zach Steffen's time is over. Unless he completely crushes it in Major League Soccer and has better stats than some others on here, Patrick Schulte, Drake Callender, who we'll talk about in a moment, I think Zach Steffen is in the no category right now. Ethan Horvath, very interesting one. I'm going to put him on the team. Weirdly, very weirdly right now, he's the only senior player that is getting any minutes. I mean, Diego Kochen on Barcelona B, he's not getting senior team minutes. Matt Turner in Nottingham Forest has been usurped by another goalkeeper. And then the MLS keepers, I think we're going to have to choose between one of them to be that third goalkeeper. So Diego Kochen, I think he can go to the Olympics. Him and Gaga Slanina can kind of battle it out at the Olympics. Matt Turner, similar to Ethan Horvath. Like, I think Matt Turner is a better goalkeeper than Ethan Horvath, but because he's not getting minutes, he's not a guarantee for me that, oh, he'll go. All right, Patrick Schulte had an amazing, amazing year with Columbus Crew last year. I am going to put him on the bubble only because, again, Zach Steffen being that third goalkeeper and then Gaga Slanina and Diego Kochen and some younger goalkeepers not really establishing themselves into those senior minutes. I do think that Patrick Schulte and I'm going to put Drake Callender here are on the bubble. One of these two, I think, are going to go to Copa America. I think it will be Drake Callender, but again, we have a lot of soccer to be played over the next few months. Sean Johnson, I mean, his time has passed. His time has passed. He's not even in the same category as Zach Steffen, honestly. Like, maybe we send Zach Steffen to the Olympics just to get minutes and we know he's a leader on the team when he's there. So maybe he goes to the Olympics. But for now, I'm keeping him in the category. So that gives us two guaranteed goalkeepers, Matt Turner and Ethan Horvath, who are on the team for Copa America. And then one of Patrick Schulte and Drake Callender are going to go. Serginho Dest, what a season he is having at PSV. All of our PSV boys, spoiler alert, are going to be on this team for me. But Serginho Dest, incredible, incredible. Can play right back, can play left back, is amazing at both. Good with both feet, great dribbler out of pressure. I think he does so much for this team. And I've always said this, is we will look back on the moment that Serginho Dest picked the US over the Netherlands, and it will be one of the most important dual nationals that we have gotten. So Serginho Dest for me, he is on the top tier. Oh, he'll go. DeJuan Jones, Um, I think he needed to make a move to Europe over the last transfer window, or else he is pretty much out of favor for both the US men's national team and for going to Europe anytime soon. He is getting older. I think he's 25 now. Um, Maybe we put him in the Olympics if we want, but he's not really been like a leader within the senior team either. So I think for right now, I'm going to put him as nah, but I will say he could move himself up to bubble with another great showing in Major League Soccer this season. Okay, Christopher Lund is next. I'm putting him on the bubble. And this is going to be a little bit tricky with Gianluca Busio and Tanner Tessman when we get to them because all of them are playing in Serie B. Christopher Lund, for me, is going on the bubble because of his performances with the U.S. men's national team over the last few match days. He has been incredible, and we need someone to back up Anthony Robinson. And because I think Serginho Dest is going to start on the right, Anthony Robinson on the left, we need someone that is able to play on the left. For me right now, Christopher Lund and Joe Scally are kind of in a battle for that, but because of where they play with their club and their experience with the U.S. national team, I'm probably going to put Joe Scally above him. So where's Joe? I'll just do that right now. Joe Scally, where are you? Joe Scally. All right, Joe Scally is on the team for me. He's going to be my left back backup, but very easily this could change to be like Joe Scally is the right back backup to Serginho Dest, and Christopher Lund is the left back backup. Shaq Moore, he's going in the nah category. This is Kevin Paredes, I think, going to the Olympics. He started off really hot with Wolfsburg, has kind of cooled off a little bit. I think the hype is dying down, which for me, if I'm a young player, I kind of want that. Like I want to be able to have a hot start where I can show that I'm capable of this. And at the same time, I don't want all eyes to be on me so that I can kind of build out how I want to be a professional. So Kevin Paredes for me going to the Olympics. Tim Ream, the dream. He's living the dream and he's on the team. Did not make sense for me to do that full rhyme, but here we are. Anyways, Tim Ream is on the team for me. Could honestly be the captain. Has been having another phenomenal year at Fulham. The Fulham boys, again, I'm going to put Anthony Robinson. He has been potentially the best left back in the Premier League this season. And I don't say that lightly or with any jest. Anthony Robinson might be the best left back performing in the Premier League this season. So both Fulham boys for me are on the team. Tim Ream at center back, Anthony Robinson at left back. Brian Reynolds is at Westerlo. We actually have two Westerlo players because Griffin Yao is going to come up at some point this time. I still think Brian Reynolds has potential to bring something to the senior team in the future, but that future is not now. So he's going to the Olympics. Cameron Carter-Vickers, for me, probably on the bubble, only because he's been having so many little niggles and injuries that are keeping him out of the team for the U.S. national team. But again, having amazing performances with Celtic. I would have liked to see him move to a bigger team and to a bigger league in the last transfer window. But honestly, winning trophies, crushing it, building your ability as a ball playing center back, especially with his size, I think is still a really good situation. And again, with all these guys, they're still very young, 23, 24 years old. I realize that's hypocritical now that I think I'm calling DeJuan Jones too old to move to Europe, but I do think the players that are already over there proving themselves at 24, 25 years old, that's all good. DeAndre Edlin, I'm going to put him as one of the senior leaders at the Olympics. I don't think he's good enough right now to warrant a position or a spot at the Copa America, but going to Cincinnati, playing in a all Usmnt backline, basically with Miles Robinson, who we'll get to in just 2 moments. But DeAndre Edlin, probably one of the senior players that I would send to the Olympics. Chris Richards, he's on the team. Maybe he's in the oh, he'll go category, but I mean, is there any center back that plays for us that is in the top tier? The same as you can say about Serginho Dest or Anthony Robinson? I really don't think so. So we have two center backs. Miles Robinson stayed in Major League Soccer. He's going to be on the bubble for me. Now, I know Greg loves Miles Robinson. Personally, I love Miles Robinson as well. He's very fast and athletic. Also good defensively. So if we're playing a high line or if we want to play with possession and we want to leave one defender back to stop those counterattacks, Miles Robinson is actually a great shout for that. But if Chris Richards is healthy and in the starting lineup, he kind of fills that role anyway. Again, very athletic, very strong, and can be the one that stops those counterattacks. Walker Zimmerman, he's kind of on the bubble in the same sense that Miles Robinson is, but I could see him going to the Olympics and being a senior presence. So I'm going to put him there. Austin Trusty, I'm putting him on the team. Sheffield United is potentially one of the worst Premier League teams ever, but getting your minutes in the Premier League as a center back in the best league in the world, not something to sneeze at. Mark McKenzie, I'm putting him on the bubble. Probably has done enough to get into this team, but it is going to be really difficult to pick between 4 center backs for 4 spots on this team, because here comes John Brooks. My God, it is John Brooks. He should be on the bubble for this. Hoffenheim are having a great season under an American coach, might I add. John Anthony Brooks, without any bias from Greg Berhalter, this is my roster. Remember, John Brooks is on the bubble. Maybe we'll see you with the team in the Copa America this summer. Reggie Cannon, I don't really think for me he's on the bubble. Like, there's too many good outside backs that have the potential to fill in where needed. Reggie Cannon is currently in the nah for me. All right, that's it for defenders. We are going to center defensive midfielders. Do we need to even say anything about Tyler Adams and Johnny Cardoso? Tyler Adams, doesn't matter that he hasn't played at all this season for Bournemouth, just coming back from injury. He just got his first minutes in the Premier League last weekend. But still, he is one of the best players on this team. He is one of the leaders on this team. And for me, if he is healthy and ready to play 45 plus minutes, he's in the he'll go category. Johnny Cardoso making an incredible move to La Liga with Real Betis this season. He has a few goals, a few assists, but he's just been performing incredibly well as a center defensive midfielder. He kind of reminds me of how Casemiro came into play with Real Madrid, just like such a good technical player. And we always knew that, right? Like, having an American that kind of grew up in the Brazilian system, being able to showcase some of the athleticism and the ability to stop attacks and be a part of the attacks, be a part of goal production, hasn't really been something that we've seen Johnny do in the Brazilian Premier League. I think it's called the Premier League. But in La Liga, I mean, just absolutely crushing it. I was always worried in the last few years about who would back up Tyler Adams. We had Kellen Acosta. We have Leonard Maloney, who we'll talk about in a moment, in the Bundesliga. We had Ada Morris, who I think could be that in the future, but probably isn't there yet. That has always been a worry for me, of what happens when Tyler Adams isn't ready to go. I am not worried at all about that anymore because of Johnny Cardoso. So Kellen Acosta, potentially the 3rd senior player at the Olympics, but for me, he's in the nah category. I mean, he's not destroying Major League Soccer. And for me, if you want to be on this national team now, you need to be one of the best players in MLS as an American to get close to this team. Leonard Maloney is on the bubble. What I like about Leonard Maloney is that he can play defensive midfielder and center back. So if we need someone that's flexible, if we need someone that can fill into some of those roles, if we don't really believe that Tyler Adams is going to be completely fit, then Leonard Maloney is actually a really good shout here, because he gives you that kind of 5th center back option, but also is the backup to Johnny Cardoso and Tyler Adams. Ada Morris goes to the Olympics. Again, amazing season with Columbus Crew. Him and Patrick Schulte actually are examples of players that have done really, really well and kind of been stars within Major League Soccer, that I would consider them getting close to the senior team. But Ada Morris, again, playing like a more defensive midfielder role, I don't really think he gets past any of these 3 in Tyler Adams, Johnny Cardoso, or Leonard Maloney. Tanner Tessman, I think, goes to the Olympics. Here's where I kind of say the Christopher Lund, Tanner Tessman thing is weird, because all of them are going to play in Serie B. Tanner Tessman with Venezia. He's had a really, really great season and a half. So like 18 months where he's been great. He's been amazing for his club, at least. But I'm not going to put him in this Copa America team, because he's probably not better than any of the center defensive midfielders or any of the midfielders that I'm going to put in this 23. So Paxton Aronson's kind of the same thing as Tanner Tessman. He is On loan from Frankfurt to Vitesse in the Eredivisie. He's had a few goals, not completely crushing it. But again, there's just like too much congestion in that midfield to warrant giving a spot to Paxton, especially when he is Olympics eligible. Weston McKennie, clap it up for Weston. I mean, what a season he is having. Redemption song for Weston McKennie at Juventus. He's on the plane. He's going. Here we have Timothy Tillman, Malik Tillman's brother. He, I mean, probably on the bubble, either in the bubble or nah for me, just because, again, he's at LAFC. He needs to be one of the better performers in MLS. He's also 25 years old, so he's a little too old for the Olympics, unless we use one of our senior roster spots on him. So I'm going to put him in bubble for now, but really he could easily fall into the nah section. Here we have Taylor Booth. Amazing season at Utrecht this year in the Eredivisie. Has great goal production. There were rumors that Manchester United wanted him in the transfer window. I'm going to put him in on the bubble. He's a lot closer to this team than I think Timothy Tillman is. But again, just such congestion in the midfield with this team. All right, Gianluca Busio. What do we do here? I mean, Olympics probably. Again, Serie B, Venezia. He's not killing it in the sense that Tanner Tessman is, but he's starting to ramp up to what we thought his potential could be. So I'm going to put Busio in the Olympic squad. Here we have Ben Kremeshi. Same thing. I'm saying this over and over, but our midfield is just so congested. We have such talent in the midfield that Ben Kremeshi, I think he's a dual national for the US and Argentina. I'm putting him in the Olympics and just giving him game time. All right, Luca De La Torre, he is on the team. Incredible season. I mean, this guy I really thought had something in him when he was at Fulham as a winger. Then he moved to the Eredivisie to play in the center midfielder role. He's filled in a lot of gaps that the U.S. needed when we were thinking about Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, and Yunus Musah as that three triangle. When one of them hasn't been able to go, Luca De La Torre has been the fill-in. And I would argue that in the same way that Johnny Cardoso has had that come up this season, Luca De La Torre, not to that extent, but he has shown himself to be fighting for one of those three spots, especially with Yunus Musah being on the bench a lot for AC Milan. I still think our best midfield is Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Yunus Musah. But I just love the competition that Luca De La Torre brings, and he's more than good enough to fit into any of those three roles in the midfield, the 6, the 8, or the 10. All right, Brendan Aronson, this is probably going to be a controversial one. But for me, he is on the bubble and slipping. However, he just had one of his best performances in the Bundesliga last week. He had a goal, not just the goal, but his entire performance, his entire match day was excellent. If he can put those together consistently, he's moving up to on the team. I think a lot of people forget what Brendan Aronson brought to us when Timothy Weah and Christian Pulisic were injured during that run up to the World Cup qualification. Like, we really needed a goal scorer, someone that could produce and cause chaos. Brendan Aronson filled in, scored a lot of goals for this U.S. team. I won't forget that. But at the same time, really fallen off his production and his rise as well. I thought when he went to Leeds, it was going to be good for him to kind of bulk up and be in a more physical league. But honestly, going to the Bundesliga isn't the worst thing in the world. And Brendan Aronson is definitely learning, definitely building, definitely growing in a physical way. He's on the bubble and slipping, but if he has more consistent performances like he had last weekend, he's going to be on the team for me. Diego Lunes is in the Olympics for me. Yunus Musah, he's in the he'll go category, for me at least. A lot of people might say he's not been getting a ton of game time at AC Milan, but again, I don't think you can argue that our best three midfielders right now are Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Yunus Musah. Johnny Cardoso at the club level is coming up to that, but Yunus Musah gets a seat on this 23. Cade Cowell, been having really great production. I've loved this move to Mexico for him. He's in the Olympics. All right, now we have Bernard Kamungo. Again, I feel like easy here. Go to the Olympics, get some game time. Jordan Morris is in the nah category. Christian Pulisic, probably our most informed player. Who thought we would be saying that? Christian Pulisic, Anthony Robinson, and Serginho Dest are probably the top three informed players for the U.S. men's national team right now. He is in this team. Oh, Gio Reyna. Where do we put Gio? Is he in the go just because we know he's pure talent? Is he on the team just because his club minutes haven't been there? He's moved from a Champions League contender being on the bench for a Champions League contender to being on the bench and not seeing minutes for a relegation candidate. Guys, I'm putting him on the bubble. Let me know about your Gio Reyna take right now. But for me, he's on the bubble. Probably in the 23. I mean, if you can see right now, we have 14 players who I think are pretty much guaranteed to be on this team. Let's be honest, Gio Reyna, talent-wise, easy to put into this team. But just based on club form, and remember, he hasn't had a ton of minutes for the US men's national team because of all of his injuries. He's in the bubble. He's in the bubble. All right, now we have Malik Tillman on the team. I mean, again, these PSV boys, I'm just going to do it. Ricardo Pepi, he's in the top tier. All three PSV boys, incredible season, incredible goal scoring, assist rate, defensive rate. All of them are just gelling so well. I believe Malik Tillman has a few assists to Ricardo Pepi. Serginho Dest to Malik Tillman. I mean, they are cooking at PSV. They are going to win the Dutch Eredivisie, the league this season. I mean, what more can you say about these guys? Malik Tillman and Ricardo Pepi are both in this team for me. Timothy Weah, where have you gone, my prince? On the bubble. Just hasn't been able to get time with Juventus. Similar situation, and how I feel about him as Brendan Aronson is like, when we needed him for the US team, he came through big. I mean, scored the goal at the World Cup. I think we need Timothy Weah. I think he always performs for the US men's national team. I'll probably move him up to on the team, but right now he needs to take advantage of these next few months with Juventus and really cement himself with the national team. All right, here we have Caleb Wiley going to the Olympics. I don't think you can really argue that. Griffin Yao, same. Two Westerlo players, Brian Reynolds and Griffin Yao. I can't believe that. All right, Ali Zendejas. Again, been performing for his club team, but not for national team. He's on the bubble for me. I don't really see a ton of what he brings us outside of our other wingers, other than being a left footer on the right side that can kind of invert and take that space. I mean, you guys will remember his performances for the US national team haven't been amazing, but he's kept his club performances really well. He's in form. I think he deserves chances with the national team still. So I'm going to keep him on the bubble, but kind of one that's falling off maybe a little bit more than, say, Christopher Lund or John Brooks is. So Esmir Baraktevich. Somebody tell me how wrong that was in the comments. I'm putting him in the Olympics. Fowler and Balogun. Oh my goodness. He's on the bubble. He is on the bubble. He is not performing how we need a star player to perform. I was as excited as anyone, and I still am. Still a very young player in Monaco, in League One, not performing to what we thought he could be. Still a very young player, still can perform a lot over the next few months. Has a few goals to his name, but not nearly as many as Mr. Josh Sargent. All right. Josh Sargent is playing in the second tier in England in the English Championship, but I think for me, he's in the top tier. Scoring goals, assisting goals, the dribbles, the ability to see and have vision of the pitch, his ability to snuff out goals, just be in the box at the right time, using his head, using both feet. Josh Sargent and Ricardo Pepi are actually my two favorite strikers right now. Jesus Ferreira, what has happened to you, man? You first designated player that came from the academy in Major League Soccer. We thought he was going to be sold to Europe at some point. He's kind of fallen off. He hasn't been, again, for me, if you're going to be on this national team now in 2024 and you're in MLS, you need to be one of the best players in Major League Soccer. And Jesus Ferreira is not that right now for me. He is going in the nah category. However, he has a few months, like everybody on this list, to show me what he has. But Jesus Ferreira is probably not worth the struggle of having Ricardo Pepi, Josh Sargent, Fuller and Balogun, Brandon Vasquez on the bubble, Haji Wright. I mean, if I put Haji Wright on the team, which I might do, That is three pure out and out strikers. And that means Fuller and Balogun, Brandon Vasquez, and Jordan Pifak are not going to be on this team. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I have two championship strikers. I have one in the Eredivisie. And then my favorite player, one of my favorite players, Fuller and Balogun at Monaco, is not going to make this team because I have three strikers here that are going. So, Brandon Vasquez, he has time. Jordan Pifak, he has time. Fuller and Balogun, you got to show me something. You got to show me something with the Usmnt national team. You have to show me something with Monaco in Liga, or you will not be with this team in Copa America. So, what do we have here? We have 3, 6, 9. So, we have 18 players that I think are basically locks to go. I'm going to put Drake Callender. So let's make our 23. So Drake Callender is going to round out our goalkeeper. I need two more center backs, I think, or maybe one more center back. Fuck it. Let's go. I'm putting John Anthony Brooks on the team. So we have four center backs. There's 20 players. I have three extras that can go. I'm going Timothy Weah. I'm going Gio Reyna. And I'm going Leonard Maloney because he's had a good season and he's very flexible. So that is my 23. That is my 23 that I'm taking to Copa America right now in March of 2024. There are lots of players on the bubble or who I'm going to send to the Olympics. But in the nah category, you need to do a lot to get back in the good graces of this national team. Guys, let me know down below in the comments what you think. I'm so happy to be back. It's been a long time since I made a video. But I'm just so excited about the Nations League that's coming up this week and about Copa America that's happening this summer. I'm going to be making a ton more content around this, hopefully. I'll see you next time on It's Called Soccer. Peace.